Genghis Khan died in 1227, and the moment it happened, his inner circle had a problem they needed to solve before anyone outside that circle found out. Where do you bury the most powerful man who ever lived without the entire world finding out where he is? Because a known grave is a target for enemies who want to desecrate it, for rival factions who want to claim it, for anyone who understands that controlling the remains of a figure like Genghis Khan is itself a form of power. The Mongols understood this, and they came up with a solution. It was thorough, it was brutal, and it worked so completely that almost 800 years later, with satellite imaging and modern archaeology and every tool we have, we still cannot find him. Let's talk about what they actually did, because the details are horrifying. Genghis Khan died somewhere in northwestern China, probably in August 1227, during a campaign against the Western Xia dynasty. The exact cause is disputed: a hunting injury, illness, possibly a battle wound. The sources don't fully agree, and honestly, the Mongols weren't rushing to document it. He was somewhere around 65 years old, which, for a man who'd spent his entire adult life on horseback across some of the harshest terrain on Earth, is quietly remarkable. But he was dead, and now his inner circle had a body and very little time. Mongol burial traditions were, by the standards of the ancient world, already unusually secretive. Ordinary Mongols were buried without markers, no mounds, no gravestones, nothing to draw attention or invite disturbance. The steppe nomad worldview didn't really believe in monuments. You lived, you died, the grass grew back. That was enough. But this wasn't an ordinary burial, and everyone involved knew it. The body had to travel. That's the first logistical reality that doesn't get discussed enough. Genghis Khan died on campaign, which means he died far from his Mongolian homeland, likely somewhere in the Ordos region of what is now northern China, potentially hundreds of miles from wherever his final resting place would be. In August, in the heat. The account suggests the body was transported in a sealed cart or coffin, and that the procession moved quickly and quietly. Some sources claim that anyone who encountered the funeral procession on the road was killed to prevent word spreading. The intent was clear: contain the information, control who knows what. Now here's where I want to pause, because before we get to what happened at the burial site itself, it's worth understanding just how seriously the Mongols took the secrecy around their sacred places generally. There was a mountain in Mongolia called Burkhan-Haldun that Genghis Khan considered deeply sacred. It was connected to his own survival of an assassination attempt early in his life. He reportedly prayed there, forbade ordinary people from approaching it. The area around it became a kind of protected zone. His burial, most historians believe, was somewhere in this general region, the Henti mountain range in northeastern Mongolia. The broader area was called Ik-Horig, the Great Taboo, and after the burial, the Mongols enforced that taboo with the full weight of imperial authority. Entry was forbidden. A special group, the Darkhad, loosely translated as the Protected Ones, were designated as guardians of the region. Their job, passed down through generations for centuries, was simply to make sure nobody went in. No mapping, no exploration, no exceptions. And the Darkhad took that job seriously for roughly 800 years. That's not a typo. There were people whose family identity, whose entire inherited purpose, was to keep strangers away from that stretch of Mongolian steppe until the late 20th century. But back to the workers, the people who actually prepared the grave, who dug it, who built whatever structure existed inside it, who handled the body and placed the grave goods. These individuals had information that the Mongol Empire had decided no living person should possess. And the solution to that was straightforward. They were killed, all of them. The sources vary on the exact mechanics. Some accounts say the soldiers escorting the burial party carried out the executions after the grave was sealed. Some suggest it was more systematic, that the workers were told they were being honored, brought together, and then killed collectively. The Persian historian Juvayni, writing in the 13th century, describes the funeral procession killing everyone it encountered en route. Rashid al-Din, another Persian historian writing slightly later, gives additional details about the scale of the secrecy operation. And then, this is the part that shocks people. The soldiers who carried out those killings were reportedly killed in turn, the logic being that anyone who knew the workers were dead also knew approximately when and where the burial had occurred. That was still too much information. It's a brutal kind of information security. Kill the people who know the thing, kill the people who know that those people knew the thing, repeat until the circle of knowledge is small enough to trust. And it worked. That's what's so staggering about it. It actually worked. We have no verified grave, no confirmed location. Expeditions have been mounted with satellite imaging, ground-penetrating radar, serious archaeological resources. A joint Japanese-Mongolian project in the 1990s and 2000s spent years searching the Henty region. An American-led project called Valley of the Khans used remote sensing technology across thousands of square miles. There have been accidental discoveries. Construction crews and mining operations in Mongolia have occasionally unearthed what might be relevant sites, but nothing confirmed, nothing definitive. There's also a layer of complication that doesn't get enough attention. Mongolian public opinion around this search is genuinely mixed. A significant portion of Mongolians don't want the grave found. Genghis Khan isn't just a historical figure there, he's a foundational national symbol, and the idea of foreign archaeologists excavating his remains carries a weight that's hard to fully appreciate from the outside. The Darkhad tradition, the sacred prohibition, the sense that some things are meant to stay hidden, that's not just ancient history for a lot of people. So you have this situation where the grave might be findable with the right technology and resources, but the will to find it is complicated by the fact that finding it might be wrong in a way that transcends archaeology, which is its own remarkable outcome when you think about it. Genghis Khan died in 1227. The people who buried him were killed shortly after. The secret passed to a small group of guardians who held it for centuries. And the result is that nearly 800 years later, the question of where he is still generates real debate.